when I was 35 on my birthday, I was at the height of my resistance to the Hathors because they kept expanding my mind so much it was becoming irritating. I don't know if you've had that experience, where you feel your mind, no, your mind goes so far, and it's, no, put on the brakes. This is too much, too fast. So I was in that particular point. And so the Hathors said, okay, just go sit down. I went to a park. I dropped my son off, my youngest son, to have martial arts practice. I went and sat on something called Madrona Point, where all these Madronas are. It's a sacred site for the Lumi Indians. And I just sat down. And as soon as I sat down, my subjective experience, let me track subjective versus objective. Objective experience as I was sitting on the ground like a normal person. Somebody walked by, somebody's just sitting on the ground. My subjective experience was a giant hole opened up in front of me, and I fell into the earth. So I'm going down through the earth subjectively. Physically, I'm grabbing the grass, like my body goes into this, holy shit, the hole just opened up underneath me, and I'm grabbing the grass to keep myself from falling. So my body, my biological information system of my nervous system was trying to track both things simultaneously, holding onto the grass because my body was sure we're falling into a hole. And the other part of me was exhilarated as we're falling through this space. And as I go down, I run into several creatures, let's call it that. One was an Aborigine shaman, and he's turning a fire stick, and he says, we have something to tell you when you come back. I said, come back? Where in the fuck am I going? I didn't mean to say that.
No, it's safe here. You're in a safe place.
It's a safe word place. Yes. So I'm falling through. The Aborigines have done their twirl sticks. Another being came and said, we have something very important to tell you when you return. Again, what the fuck? And I fall down to the bottom of the hole, and my subjective experience is that I'm in the center of the earth, which is molten, metals, lead. And my hands were still holding the grass, and my hands were getting tired because I was grasping it so hard. But that was coming from my neurological system that tracks survival. So my brain said, holy shit, there's a hole is open, we got to grab and keep ourselves from falling through. But when I hit the center of the earth, there's this white, egg-like blob, and it says, I am the Earth Dreamer, and I'm about to change the dream. Will you sing the song of the new earth? And I said, I'll think about it. Always, when you interact with a being from another dimension, whether it's in your own mind, a creation of your own mind and brain, always get the specifics. So I go back up, and I'm I'm back in my body. My hands can let go of the grass, and I am like stoned out of my mind because of all the information that was going on. And so I look up, and there a couple comes and sits right in front of me, like maybe 6 feet away, which is really odd. And I realize I'm invisible to them, physically invisible. This happens a lot in this world. It's a vibrational thing. So I was in a different vibration, my energy body was, and they didn't see me for some reason. And they decide to start making love because there's nobody there. Right? And so he takes off his shirt, and they're really going at it. He gets ready to unbutton her blouse, and I'm like nervous because, I can see they're going to suddenly wake up and see me and say, hello, I'm not a pervert. I was here first, really. So the young woman, they were like in their 20s, it looked like, said, something's wrong, we need to leave. The guy didn't get it at all. The woman got it. And so they got up and left. So the Hathors said, would you sing the song of the new earth? And I said, well, again, I'll think about it. And then many years later, it just happened very quickly. I got inquiries from Europe, and I went to Europe with my wife, Judy, and we went around the world 4 times singing the song of the new earth in sacred places, quote unquote. I hate that word, but those places that are acknowledged as very special.
Yeah, I love that story. Going down into the earth, talking to an Aboriginal shaman, and then rock people, and then to the Earth Dreamer, and then came back up, and they're like, now that you've been briefed, will you sing the song? We all want you to sing the song. Right. It's just a really cool story, and the path has taken you, as you say, around the world several times, experiences that a lot of people wouldn't have. And this is another thing I've heard you talk about is moving the needle in terms of mass consciousness. Now, in the grand scheme of things, you're not Taylor Swift, like you're not a household name. You have a name in a certain subculture, a lot of respect.
Very small.
And
yes.
I know you've said to these entities before, like, why am I doing this? It doesn't seem like I'm moving the needle. And they say, well, it might 1 to 5%. And you're like, I don't even know if 1 to 5% is enough given the state of people out in the world today. As we started with the intro, like, people are programmed to be in one state of consciousness. People are so far behind, they can't hear a message like this. And you've had those thoughts, like, is it worth it? And I guess I have the same thoughts too. I think we expect a person with a legitimate, authentic connection to some spiritual entities to be amplified on the physical plane, to be a household name. There really isn't anyone like that. But all you can do is deliver the message and see if people are ready to receive it. But what are your thoughts on that, on your level of popularity or fame, given that I would think there'd be like a little extra oomph because you got spirits involved that should be able to kind of increase the potency of the message once it's delivered?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think fame is overrated.
Yeah.
I think that the pursuit of fame, for me, would be off the track of what I'm about. I think that some people, their dharma, their track, if you will, in this life is to become very well known, to present this information to a wide range of people. I don't think that's my track in this lifetime. So I'm more under the radar. So I'm interested in connecting with people who are explorers and committed to the highest level of integrity that they can foster in themselves, and we go exploring together. I'm not interested in interacting with the masses, the mainstream, because they don't get it. And there's just so much time. So I'm working with people that are, some of them are people who are going to go out and be well known. I work with doctors and lawyers and highly amazing people in all gamuts. And some of them I can see will take their realizations to the larger sphere. But that's not my job, if that makes sense.
It does. And we can say that there's a little bit of a butterfly effect here. You're part of a network. Who knows how far a message goes once it's delivered by any old person. And maybe fame is not the right term, but I guess influence. Because if the goal here, from the Hathors perspective, it seems like the reason why they're connecting to you and delivering these sound code gifts and these messages is to get the word out. Clearly, anyone who has a message wants it to be heard by a large number of people. And if the goal is to raise the vibration of all people to get through this chaotic point in the timeline, then a lot of people kind of have to hear the message.
Well, I agree with you on one level. Absolutely. There needs to be more awareness in our culture that there's another way to approach life than consumerism, mindless stupidity. But the way this works, so readers, dear readers, please take out your imaginary boxes and put it by your side, okay? The way I view this, which comes from the influence of all the spiritual traditions I've worked with for the last 40 years, and the Hathors, all those influences have shaped my perception. But my perception and understanding is that because at a deepest level of consciousness, you and I, all the readers, the listeners at this program, all sentient beings, butterflies, frogs, alligators, crocodiles, fish, every creature on the earth, we are all connected. We are connected at a deep level in consciousness that's far beyond what our culture deems possible. So in that deep interconnectedness, it's like we're in a garden and there are different blossoms, different flowers, and they blossom at different times. And we are in a garden of, what is it, 8 billion people on the planet right now? Mm-hmm. Something like that. Way more sentient beings than that if you count up all the insects and everything. So all these consciousnesses, because even bacteria has consciousness, viruses have consciousness. We all have consciousness. And if you're alive, you have some form of consciousness. Human consciousness is just one. But at that deepest level of interconnectedness, when one person makes a shift, it has an effect on all their relations. And so it works from the bottom up.
Can you believe it, people? A video clip and a peek into how that sweet THC sausage is made. For some people, I'm sure it's nice to put a face to the name, so I started making clips that are a little more YouTube friendly than the full show tends to be. Get the full show on any podcasting platform. I prefer to keep it audio only, so we have a more decentralized distribution for a controversial show, and also so I can edit out the ums and ahs and barking dogs and all the things that happen when a person records in their home environment. And then if you really like the show, you can sign up for THC Plus, and instead of 1 hour interviews, you get the full 2-hour interview for just $8. I think that's a better deal, more of a win-win than asking you to support the show by booking a therapy session or buying generic Viagra. It's getting weird out there, folks. So just go to the highersidechats.com or click the link at the top of any set of show notes, and all your wildest dreams will come true. All right? All right.
The Higherside Chats.